All right. Hello. This is probably very crazy of me. I mean, I'm sitting in my bed, 2:30 in the morning, first day of Chinese New Year to now is the second day. And I was gonna fall asleep, and I just kept having a lot of ideas on what to do for videos and stuff, and then you know how the thoughts keep on going, and like I got this idea to do the video right now. And then I asked myself, okay, if I can't fall asleep, maybe in the next few minutes, maybe it's really good to take a video, because I also feel lazy. But to be honest, I'm actually very wide awake, and yeah, so I thought of some ideas, probably to share about how I try to keep up with my health, you know, because the last video actually I ended off with wanting to speak with Song Hye Kyo and Jun Ji Hyun, and yeah, then it kind of got me like really into being more intimate in the video in this sense. I mean, not physically, but obviously environmentally, I'm also trying to get onto the camera as soon as I can, which is actually not even off my bed. It's so interesting. I mean, yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and share, because I somehow feel that times like this are the most genuine, and not just from me, not just from the normal logical mind, so that would be pretty exciting. So I put on a voice memo, try to record on what I wanted to take for the next video, but it seems to be happening right now. So when when I really took notice, when I actually started to pay attention to my life, like in many aspects, like to say it very simply is spiritually, but actually to live life to the fullest is when I really get to know myself to the fullest. Simple as that. And I rewatched the video that I just did, and I guess I got inspired because I started to realize that I am trying to find out what I want to become and stuff like that. To me, that's not really it. To me, it's just discovering who I already am, and the things that are already happening to me. For instance, those very big reactions that I have, like that seems uncontrollable, now I'm starting to have a better idea about it. So for instance, like the last video when I said that I feel very uncomfortable, I was very affected by the fact that I was worthless, even by a mere sentence from my father, because he's someone very important to me. Then that's why, because if any stranger were to tell me this, I'm like, who cares, you know, like you don't even know what I'm going through and stuff like that. So, and I think the emotional connection to parents are always very, very intimate. Of course, I came out of them, you know, like literally. I mean, literally out of my mother, but literally made from them in a sense. So a lot of connections there. So I'll just go simple and see where it takes me. So getting all excited. Actually, when I ended the video with Song Hye Kyo, I already wanted to do the next video about acting and wanting to be like that and stuff. So just want to give a bit of background. Actually, I take a lot of pride in taking care of myself. At least on the physical wise, because sometimes I also go very extreme, like 2:30 and not sleeping. So I'm also not quite the norm for this aspect of my life, thinking that sleeping 8 hours or 7 hours a day daily would help. I learned from Sadhguru that it's how efficient you sleep So if I have a car and I'm driving it for like 15 days, and the next 15 days it needs to go into service, I'm not sure, but that's not very efficient to me. So it's the same. I think if I spend like 12 hours of 24 hours every day sleeping, and just to feel somewhat energetic, because sometimes I wake up also feeling like I haven't slept enough. Actually, I already slept like 7-8 hours. So I started to really figure out that it is not the number of hours. Like, definitely not for me, because there are already enough times for me to realize that if I sleep a shorter amount of time, like maybe 5 hours, 4 hours, or sometimes even 3 hours, but and I actually get more awake. So this is a very interesting thing, and I resonated with what Sadhguru said, that it's about efficiency. I mean, he sleeps like 3 hours every day, I think. 3 to 4 hours. 4 hours if he's lazy, he said, every day. And he's well in his 60s, I think 65 this year. And he's like constantly, energetic. So to me, energy is the universe, is everywhere. And I am a vessel. So it's about how much energy I can consume and regulate, in a sense, because it comes in and out, right? It's not like I can consume and then just swallow everything and nothing comes out. It's a cycle in that sense. Last time I really feel there's a lot of rules that I follow. For instance, I literally did an exact 16 hours of fasting and 8 hours of eating, that kind of thing, and strictly follow the lines. And because of my recent ventures into really figuring out who I want to be and stuff, I start to let go of many belief systems, as I mentioned, right? But actually they are the invisible lines that I created for myself, or even just learn from the society as a whole. Because it's so easy to generalize, right? Where you just offer an advice to say sleep 7 to 8 hours, especially from doctors, because when it comes to health related things, you also, the society tries to be efficient in their communication. Doesn't mean it works. That's why the doctors, I guess, they can never tell someone for sure this is gonna happen and stuff. There's always an element or a small probability that it will happen otherwise. I think that's also my understanding of quantum physics. Like you can repeat the exact same experiment and it will always have a different result, because there are just some things that we don't have the tools to measure that is different. So whatever we can't measure, right, then we just keep whatever we can measure consistent. But whatever we can't measure, we don't know how are we going to keep that consistent. So that's, to me, the limitation of science. And that's why it's so interesting for me to really step into the soulful side, to really starting to realize the artistic side of me, how a lot of things cannot be measured is actually in existence. They are actually in existence, and I gotta slowly unravel that, I think, throughout life. But I think now that I'm doing this video, I'm really thankful that I got my butt up and talked to you guys despite all my little friends here. At first it's quite embarrassing, but I think that's also one of the lines that I already threw out, that who says we cannot make videos from the bed. And at the end of the day, once again, I can't care less about how many viewers there are. Well, mainly because at this point in time I don't do this for a living. But yeah, so I have this idea. Suddenly I thought about how I just need to do a few videos very sincerely, very authentically about my life, and just because I want to do so many things. I wanted to write books, I wanted to like act, I wanted to express myself, dance, be a performer, like literally everything. Want to be professional. I'm not sure how many lifetimes I need to do in order to be a professional in everything. But basically, I guess that's how my mind is, you know. So if my mind is really able to understand the leader, which is me, the heart, the soul, then it only needs to really craft the path and let me walk through it in the direction that I really need to be in this life, in that sense lah. I mean, it's all parallel. Yeah, so I guess there's really no way of knowing, because you really gotta live it out. So here I am, sharing, making a few good stories in videos, and then starting to get a little bit more influential in terms of getting interviews from people who are already influential, to talk a little bit more about my life, which means I need to be more detailed about what I really want to share sincerely. And then that's where I started to think that, hey, you know, that's probably how people will start to want to write stories and, you know, collaborate, because I wanted to be a writer and stuff. So I kind of realized that I'm trying to form a team of like a conglomerate of people who are professionals by myself, which is not true, which is not gonna happen in this life. Or so it's more like collaboration, right? So I start to speak, and then I start to really, I don't know, somehow manage to find someone influential, like to interview me, and we start talking about the details of my life, and people got interested, and then they start writing stories, like Kim Eun-suk, if I'm not wrong, the writer for The Glory. You know, she's so imaginative. She's written like awesome Korean dramas, and you know, most of them I like, but maybe because she always casts Song Hye Kyo. I mean, not always, but well, that's what it means, right? When you have a favorite and you're really feeling all excited about a certain direction and stuff. So that's how it is. I mean, that's what passion is. Fear comes in, you know, sometimes. I mean, it happens to me a lot, where I hide behind the word practical and tell myself to just do whatever the society has already done, and just walk the path that is already created, and don't walk on the green fields that is like you can't even see where the path is going and stuff like that. So yeah, and then I start to well, if the same writer writes the drama for me and stuff, then definitely I have some collaboration with people like Song Hye Kyo and stuff. And that's where I realized I need to brush up my Korean, and that's how my thoughts really go. Brush up my Korean, so that, you know, if I really act, and I don't have to struggle with like maybe having to speak English more than Korean, and then maybe also having the Korean actresses and actors to speak more English than Korean in the drama and stuff like that. So yeah, so when my mind is fantasizing or being really imaginative, it can really go very far. And that's why I always feel so comfortable to have the genes of 60 more years. Because I have endless things to do. It's really human also. It's not like every day is like that. For me, actually half the time, or even more than half the time, I have to deal with the negativity. Yeah, that's how my life is. I'm not sure about how everyone is going through, but I'm known to be pretty extreme, because I also don't know why, but I have my juniors from my ex company telling me that, yeah, I'm pretty extreme, in a sense that when I feel the pain, I try not to brush it away anymore. So if I feel the pain of, like, fear is a pain to me, and I start to walk away. Actually, walking away would have been easier to spot, but my mind is so clever in a way that it tricks me also. So when the negativity hits, the imagination also works for the negative side, which is really coming up with stories to act busy in a sense. Like, let's say my true calling is working on being an actress, an international actress in the form of Lara Croft or Wonder Woman. And then I start taking lessons, right? Acting lessons. And then I just treat it like I'm actually already working on it. Because ultimately, what keeps coming back to my mind is that I'm really afraid to fail. I'm not sure why. Of course, there are like many reasons why, but I guess mainly it's because I'm so afraid of being worthless and being commented to be not good enough and stuff, that I will want to give up. So before I even do that, I actually give myself a lot of excuses. To the point that it's quite subtle, right? Like, for example, I take an acting class, but yet I'm actually not doing what I actually am supposed to do in that sense, which is really getting interested and curious about how I'm gonna be, or like have some discipline to train my voice and some discipline to keep my health good and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how you have a double-edged sword. You know, I've come to realize that there are some things that well, we're all different in a way. So as much as I really think a lot and want to express myself a lot and want to communicate a lot, then my partner is on the opposite side, where like she really thinks simply, you know, like sometimes it's really nice because it's contentment, and but that's the role that she intends to play in this life, and my role that I intend to play in this life is like this in that sense. It's just different. So yeah, that's all that I had in mind for the voice memo. But I wanted to start with this health thing, right? On how I've come to be like this. I have been exercising every single day for many years already. Like, okay, of course there are off days. I mean, it's not like every single day for many years, right? There are also days where I feel lazy, but most of the time it's every day. In the beginning, I think roughly 2016, where during the new year, the 1st of January, I had stomach flu, and I immediately lost like maybe 3 kgs or 4 kgs because of not eating. And I decided to maintain it by signing up for a gym and going to the gym every single day after work. Sometimes even during lunch, I would just go and eat some packed food, like really healthy packed food. And I continued to stay really fit and slim, right? To the point where my family, like one of my family members, my uncle, actually thought that I was on drugs and stuff because I was so like too skinny already, skin and bones. But yeah, I was literally exercising, like lifting weights, like wow, really pushing very hard, and I got the ideal weight lah. For the first time, I was below 50 kg. I think I haven't had that since I was like secondary school or something like this. But it wasn't nice, you know. I looked too like unhealthy in that sense. Yeah, so but I had that kind of discipline where I would really do it. If I really want it, it's already done every single day, no complaints. Even sometimes I feel tired, but I don't feel the hatred, you know. It's not like I hate it and stuff. I feel tired thinking that I'm gonna be lazy, but no, I'm just gonna do it. So that really got me where I am. And as opposed to what I just mentioned about breaking the lines, that's where the initial fear is definitely there, because actually the intention behind the discipline was all about the fact that I don't want to be worthless, or I mean that's a very very deep core reason, but before that it's like I don't want to be lazy. So I mean I can do the same thing, like keep on going for a gym every day, but if I didn't take note to reconsider or at least re-examine the intention behind it, right, it can immediately go unhealthy, like negative or positive. So if I had gone to the gym every day feeling like, oh, I'm so happy to be taking care of my health and wanting to, you know, live a long life for 60 years and stuff, versus like I don't want to be lazy, you know, it's very different because everything is connected. Imagine all the cells. I'm not sure if you know of the documentary about water molecules. When you actually like look at it microscopically, when you speak nice words or even just have nice thoughts to the water, the molecule actually looks like a really nice snowflake. But if you start shouting at it over days and, you know, like cursing at it, it actually becomes really like complicated, like really like tough, you know, that kind of thing. And yeah, and we are 70% water minimum. I mean, liquid wise, definitely almost 100%. And imagine that, just that one thought a day, you know, like I don't want to be lazy, versus like, wow, I'm looking forward to keeping like my health up to 93, 95, because I have the genes already, so I just need to keep maintaining and stuff. So that's a lot of difference, and that is effortless. And after that, my flexibility of the mind actually expands. It's not just going to the gym, lifting weights, doing the same routine every single time. There are enough fitness trainers nowadays sharing that it's not everything on the high intensity. It actually destroys the body. So then, I mean, I've come to a point now, I'm still exercising every day, but not every time is lifting weights and sweating like hell, even though that is still my innate feeling of being fit. Like if I don't sweat, I don't feel like I exercised. But I still treat, I mean I slowly lah, I still treat stretching, because my stretching can be like one position for like 2.5 minutes to 5 minutes. So imagine that could be like just like 7 moves and 7 positions, and that is like already a very full exercise regime. But I take time to notice that I need this, and I started to invest in good massage, not just sports massage, but it's all the intention behind it, as I can share with you as much as I have gone through. Like if I do the massage, and in the beginning I also feel like, oh, why I'm going to spend this kind of money, because I'm pretty frugal with myself. I can really go quite minimal if I have like a very very sharp focus and stuff. So I sometimes get very uptight with myself, especially in terms of spending money. So like I'm using an iPhone 10 right now that I've been using for almost 5 years, and I'm very excited about getting the iPhone tomorrow. And I'm gonna buy it on Carousel. But even then I will still feel like, yeah lah, why go and spend this kind of money when I'm still, not having a full-time job, that kind of thing. These are all the belief systems that I'm starting to be more fluid with. And I learned to really feel some empathy. And because if not, it will just go back to some discipline again. If it's not this rule of keeping to going to the gym every day, then it will be another rule, then it'll be another rule. And I'm not sure if you have gone through this, but the soul definitely is very angry when I only use my mind to live, use my brain and my logical thinking to breathe. to live. Mind is the word mind is actually very broad, but mostly I think it's easy for us to regard the mind as the brain, but mainly it's just the logical thinking, because the mind itself is actually the full thing. It's like where your body, your organs, everything connects. Yeah. And having this like full channel, that's where you really get the most energy out. I think as a human, maybe Sadhguru has done very, very well with that. He's constantly having like a lot of energy. But he has a lot of discipline as well. I mean, like the food that he eats and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. In Singapore, we always start with discipline. Like, it could lead us to do what we initially started out, what we initially wanted. But the doing does not mean anything if I didn't examine the intention behind it. If I never examine the intention behind me going to the gym every day lifting super heavy weights, I would still be doing this now, and I probably would have destroyed my muscles, if not my knees or all the areas where I cause so much pressure but yet don't take care. I remember one of my mentors, she always, this sentence really sticks with me, because it's something that I really did without caring about myself, which is, discipline is a form of laziness. That was like, just now I just mentioned how I was so afraid of laziness, and I guess that's where it really hit, right? Because finally the belief system is like jammed, like a system jam, I thought the formula is like laziness is no discipline, discipline is no laziness. Then how come discipline is laziness? Or laziness is discipline? So it was really phenomenal. These are always the breakthrough moments. Sometimes they're gentle, like this is actually pretty gentle. Sometimes they're really very, at the moment it feels so crushing. It's like your world collapsed because whatever I used to believe is completely not true in that sense. Not true enough, for me to carry on, and so that's the beauty of it. And I used to keep on going to MacRitchie for runs every single day, especially when I thought I was depressed and really not clear about what I want in my life. And I actually keep on running thinking that I could clear my mind, release all the negative ions and stuff. It's true initially, but once again, when I don't examine or I don't understand the intention behind it, I'll just do it like army style and I get stressed over it. Like, I might even feel uncomfortable falling asleep because I have to wake up at 6:45 a.m. so that I can run for 45 minutes, so that I can come back and shower and then appear at work at this time, and like that becomes really irritating. As a child especially, we all have a child in us, right? An inner child. And for me, I didn't really manage to grow up to my age, so there's a bit of catching up to do. But imagine having to parent yourself, parent my inner child. Is discipline really the way I want to go about it? No. Even though I might have gone through it, I've come to realize that it's gonna make things worse, because the inner child is not truly a child for me to parent. It is just letting me know that I have some gap, because the inner child is the me, is the soul, is the one who knows the purpose in the first place. is the one who knows everything and is just here to experience life as we use a linear form of living. That means we have a chronological age. But basically this inner child is timeless. It can repeat itself if it wants. That's what I believe. I mean, it's not like I have any way to prove this, but as I grow closer to myself, there are just some things that are worth taking note, you know. And if I carry on in this way, it makes me very happy. And one of them is to understand that it is really like a game. There is no fear of failure, because if I take this particular life so seriously, I'm probably not going to do anything at all. But understanding that my life is actually timeless, that means if this life I did this and I didn't really like it, and I can repeat again. That's reincarnation for the Buddhism. But yeah, it's just some understanding that I have about certain truth in life, and nicer. It's nice. Rather than focusing on things like gossips, and there's a lot of things on media also, to me, are not very interesting. Unfortunately, they are ruling the society. The leaders, I mean, many of them abuse their power of influence. It's not so easy to find someone who's genuinely happy and contented and yet very influential and full of leadership, still like having like some hard things going on, and maybe sometimes even forget and just like so enjoy the power to the point that they just forget. I don't know how I'll be when I'm influential with power and authority and stuff. I'm gonna keep up with my experiences, humbling myself to what I've been going through, and you know, discovering the compassion that I have, that all of us have in different forms. Even the evil person has compassion. 人性本善 is really, to me, it's true. It's really nice. I mean, true or not true, it's just a word. Like, I also don't take it so seriously like it's the absolute truth, because nobody knows that. Even law is not like truth. You know that it's just someone drawing the lines and having some boundaries so that we can live in this world that we've created and stuff, because the world we've created is limited. So I mean, now having this camera in front of me, I can really sense all my understanding of life in one feeling or in one sensation. But it's not a topic for a video chat, I guess. It's because these things don't have a lot of words. That's why poems and literature, they are the closest to what the absolute truth or the universal truth is, because they are the only words left for your interpretation. Then other than that, I mean, yeah, science is really limited, because it has to be limited in order to show proof at this point in time. I don't know whether there will be tools that we can invent in this world that could really measure and keep consistent in terms of, I don't know, being objective. But life is subjective, because there's no way I can control who I'm gonna meet, what I'm gonna do with the people that I need and stuff. Nothing is gonna be to my expectation. Because if that's gonna happen, I'm gonna be disappointed very clearly. And I mean, throughout my life, I have been pretty disappointed. Well, some might argue that, you know, if you just focus and then you will meet your expectations and stuff like that. And I hope it's true for these people, because I guess it's not easy for me to have expectations because I really see the whole picture very fast. Like, yeah, so it's hard for me to have a tunnel vision, because every tunnel starts to help me see the whole picture over and over again. It's like my zooming function doesn't work very well. Once it tries to zoom in, it zooms out. In that sense. Yeah, and even in HD, it's not just digital zoom. It's actually optical zoom. Yeah, you can tell that I've been researching on the iPhones. But yeah, I think that's the first time out of all the videos that I've taken that I feel really comfortable and inspired to share a little bit more about myself. There's more to it. There's never gonna be full disclosure until, I don't know, maybe even until I pass away, like 80 years old. Probably can't give you full disclosure, I don't know. But that's the fun part, where you don't know what's gonna happen next. Like watching a movie. Huh? Alright, I'm gonna check out. Starting to feel my eyelids are getting heavy. Hope you enjoyed sometime. Gonna post this up when I'm ready. Alright, take care. See you.